Hello! This video is on the viewing options within MediaWorks for the Eventide Nextlog DX model recorder running software version 2024.3. This video is brought to you by Nelson Systems Incorporated. First and foremost, I would like to cover my favorite feature in any bit of end-user software, and that is the ability to adjust your theme from the classic glaring white to the dark theme. This is a feature that was added to the DX unit. If your organization is still using the older Nextlog 740, you will not have access to that, unfortunately. That said, it is not licensed, so if you do have the newer recorders, you will be able to change the theme. For multimedia display options, this simply means if you have additional video that you want to display on playback, how is it going to show up on your display? Currently it is set to display in Canvas and to split the pane top to bottom. You can have it split left to right instead, or you can have the video pop out into its own application. All that looks like is this. So when you do the video playback, do you want it to pop out in its own window, or do you want it to display nice and neat and tidy in the canvas? This metadata here can also be adjusted within the multimedia display. If you don't want to show any additional metadata when you select a call, you can simply hit select none, you can select all, or you can go and pick and choose and adjust what metadata will display here when a call is played back. Geo display. This is a licensed feature, and if you would like to talk to your local Eventide representative, I'm sure they would be more than happy to help you set it up. So what the geo display allows for is these map pins. If you have geolocation metadata that tags to the call, that'll place a pin on the map with this selected metadata here, and then if you click that pin, it'll bring you to the actual call within the call record. Nice little handy feature there. If you ever run into an issue where this is already checked and you click Enable Geo Display and nothing comes up, you simply have to go and select it again, as you had previously exited out of the window. So the best way to open and close that is going to be to select and deselect it within the Viewing tab. Icons and markers are a bunch of little handy viewing icons that can give you more information about a call. Best one here is going to be Show Speech Factor AI in Timeline. Speech Factor AI is a licensed feature that is available on the DX units. And what that allows for is, as you move your cursor across this gray bar under a call in which we have generated the speech factor, you can actually see the text that was generated. Of course, you can go to Properties, come down here, and you can look at the entire call record, should you wish. So just a quick and easy way to see which ones you have generated the speech factor AI for. You can see here if we deselect that option, that little gray bar goes away. Other icons and markers, probably best viewed with more call records. So you can see here they're kind of color coordinated by the call type, as well as you can see the radio group icon for different radio groups. A handy feature that I really suggest you play around with and see what works best for your organization and the metadata that you have. Loop markers. If you look at the timeline here, you can create a loop. This is a feature that would be covered in our playback options video, but if you set a loop here and you don't have that viewing option enabled, you actually wouldn't see the loop markers on the timeline, which I think is a bit silly because clearly you'd want to see those. So all of those additional markers and icons can be found there. Connection information is just going to show you information about the recorder that you're currently connected to with your MediaWorks session. Alarms will pull up a list of active alarms. Additionally, you can click on the little triangle here next to your login name in the top right. Reports will show up with all of the reports that you've run on the system and saved. You can view them, download them, export data for an Excel document, or throw it in the trash should you wish. Archives will pull up your list of active archives, whether you have net archives, USBs, or CDs. Whatever additional media storage you're using with your recorder, you can see the status of those there. Audible alarm I wouldn't mess with unless you want to cause your IT people a heart attack, as it will play an actual alarm out of the front speakers of the Eventide unit. Not sure why that one's in the View tab, but gets an honorable mention anyways. What follow playback does is you can see how the timeline is moving across the screen here. As we click a record to begin playback, sorry, it was yelling at me because I was already in this call here. You'll see that the timeline is moving across the cursor, keeping the cursor centered in the screen. Now, deselect follow playback. The timeline will remain still as the cursor moves across the timeline. Let's say I have a large list of records, okay, and I've scrolled away from it. These record lists can get to be hundreds of records long, depending on the time frame that you have selected and the amount of resources. Say we lost the one that we're currently playing back and we wanted to find it. Simply click Show Playing Record, and we'll navigate right back to it. Show Playback Audit is a feature that will show you what calls have already been played back and viewed. So you see this little gray dot icon to the left on your playback record here. As I play a record, it will leave a dot to indicate that that record has been played and viewed. Column defaults is in reference to the columns that you see here. So any bit of metadata that comes in can be shown in a column on the call record, and those defaults can be edited within this window. Additionally, should you use the right-click feature to add more columns to the record here, and you find a configuration that you particularly enjoy or you think is useful that way, you can come back up to View and save current columns layout as the default. Okay, timeline defaults is just going to change the default amount of zoom. So let's say you get tired of changing the timeline zoom every time you log into the recorder. You can simply adjust that default here. And lastly, warn on exit is just a feature that says if I want to exit this page, it's going to flag a warning, say, hey, are you sure you want to leave? Make sure you're not working on anything. If that feature is disabled, you will not receive the warning and will simply exit upon clicking exit. That covers all of the viewing tab options. Thank you for watching.